Hi everyone, my name is Karen and I'm the Children and Families Worker from Mount Pleasant Baptist Church in Blackwood. You might have met me if you've been to our church, or you might have seen one of my previous craft videos. So thank you for joining me today. So in just over a week it will be Mothering Sunday, or some call it Mother's Day. So I thought that I would celebrate our mums. Now I realise that not everyone has a mum, but I think that everyone has someone that they love. So just think of that person instead. And today we're going to make a bouquet of flowers that you can give to them on Mother's Day. And yours is going to look something like this when it's finished. You'll need to gather some simple materials and tools before you begin, and hopefully you should have everything you need already at home. And as I always say, the creative energy and the love you spend while you're making these crafts are more important than the actual components. So just have fun with what you've got available to you. And while we're making the flowers, I'm going to tell you a story about two ladies in the Bible called Ruth and Naomi, and their journey back to Naomi's hometown after she lost her sons and the husband of Ruth, and how Ruth goes with her because she loves her like a mum. So let's go through the list of materials and the tools that you're going to need to make these lovely flowers. So let's have a look at what materials and tools we're going to need this morning. So first of all, you're going to need some paper napkins. I've got this pretty pastel napkin. You could use tissue paper or crepe paper, or even just everyday tissues if that's all you've got. You're going to want to end up with them square and then folded into a rectangle like that. So paper napkins is the first thing. Then you're going to need pipe cleaners. I've got these nice furry ones. You're going to need an empty clean jam jar or some other form of container, and you're going to need some scissors. Optionally then, you might want to use some card, a pen, a hole punch and some string if you want to make a gift tag at the end, but that's optional and I won't be using those. So what we're going to do next is some preparation. So first of all, we're going to need to prepare the basic flowers. So before you do anything else, take a pipe cleaner and bend it in half. And then just put that to one side. Then you're going to need your tissue paper, or in my case, the paper napkins. Now mine are 2-ply, which means it's got two pieces of paper together. In fact, mine are 3-ply, 3 pieces of paper together. So they come folded into a rectangle usually like this, and then you have an open edge here and an open edge here, a half open edge there, and then this is fully closed. So what you want to do is to cut along the edge where it's folded in half there, not the solid end, the end where you can see the opening, and you're literally just going to take a tiny little bit off the edge of the serviette like that. So you're going to end up with this little bit left over, so get rid of that. And now if you unfold your napkin, it's actually easier at this point if you just slightly pull them apart gently like that. again. So I've got now 4 separate rectangles of paper. So I'm just going to line those all back up. And you can see that the inside ones are a slightly different colour, but that doesn't matter at all. So we're going to line them back up so that the folded edge there is back in the centre. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in a concertina shape. Now you want to make sure that what you're not doing is folding it over on itself like that. We're going to do it as a concertina. So I'm making it about 1.5 centimetres deep, this first fold. And you want to just smooth your fingers along the edge so that it's nice and firmly flattened. And then you flip it over and turn it back on itself and do the same thing. And then you just keep flipping backwards and forwards, flattening it down each time. Until you've got the concertina made all the way up to the end of your rectangular sheet of tissue paper or napkin. I'm just going to put the last few folds in here. Just like that. So now if I grip that carefully in the middle and show it to you in to the camera, you can see that it's a nice concertina, like a fan effect. Now what you want to do next is take your pipe cleaner and with the bent ends just slip that over the top of what is going to be your flower, slide it to the middle, approximately the middle there, and then give it a couple of really good twists. So that's the basis of your flower. So what you want to do now is go ahead and make the rest of your flowers to suit, to look exactly like this, however many flowers you think are going to fit into your jar, however many napkins you've got. And then we will go ahead and we'll start actually making the flowers look pretty. So you go ahead and do that, and you can catch me up in a minute. So by now, hopefully you'll have all of your flowers prepared. These are the ones that I've prepared and the one that I showed you I was making. So now it's time to make them all nice and fluffy. So we start on the one side and just gently peel that very first layer up. And you've got to be gentle because it's quite fragile, the tissue paper. So just peel it up towards the middle like that. And then take the next one and peel that up in the same way. The next layer again. And then finally your fourth layer, you can just bring that up. So you can see how it's easier if you've separated those before you try doing this, because otherwise it takes quite a while to actually find the ends. So once you've done the one side, go to the other side and start again. So just gently pulling it all up to the centre for each layer at a time. You want to make sure that you're only ever catching one layer, because that's what makes it nice and fluffy. and they can be quite tricky to get to the corners. Sometimes if you blow on the corner, you can see them separate a bit easier. And then push up the last one. So there you can see that we've got this lovely, you just fold it in a little bit. We've got this lovely tissue paper flower. And because my sheets are different colours, that makes it even prettier. So what we're going to do is just then finish twisting our pipe cleaner to make a nice sturdy stalk. Doesn't have to be very tight, it's just to keep the stalk together. Maybe a little extra twist at the bottom. And there we are, that's your first flower. This is quite big. My paper napkins, I think, were about 15 centimetres square. So they make lovely big fluffy ones. But it doesn't really matter how big the paper is that you use. Just use whatever you've got, as I say. Okay, so once you've finished doing your first one, you can carry on doing the rest. And while we're doing that, I'm going to tell you a story about two ladies in the Bible called Ruth and Naomi. So while we keep making our flowers, I'm going to tell you a beautiful story about a mother and a child in the Old Testament. The child wasn't even the mother's child. She was actually her daughter-in-law. But the mother, Ruth, still set an example for us to follow, learning to love our mothers the way God wants us to. So I'm going to read to you a few short verses from Ruth, chapter 1, verses 6 to 17. While Naomi was in the country of Moab, she heard that the Lord had helped his people. He had given food to his people in Judah. So Naomi decided to leave the hill country of Moab and go back home. Her daughters-in-law also decided to go with her. They left the place where they had been living and started walking back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi told her daughters-in-law, "Each of you should go back home to your own mother. You have been very kind to me and my sons, who are now dead. So I pray that the Lord will be just as kind to you. I pray that the Lord will help each of you find a husband and a good home." Naomi kissed her daughters-in-law and they all started crying. But then the daughters said, "But we want to come with you and go to your family." But Naomi said, "No, daughters, go back to your own homes. Why should you go with me? I can't have any more sons to be your husbands. Go back home. I am too old to have a new husband. Even if I thought I could be married again, I could not help you. If I became pregnant tonight and had 2 sons, you would have to wait until they grew to become men before you could marry them. I cannot make you wait that long for husbands. That would make me very sad. And I am already sad enough. The Lord has done many things to me." So again, they cried very much. Then Orpah kissed Naomi goodbye, but Ruth hugged her and stayed. Naomi said, "Look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her own people and her own gods. You should do the same." But Ruth said, "Don't force me to leave you. Don't force me to go back to my own people. Let me go with you. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you sleep, I will sleep. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die. and that is where I will be buried. I ask the Lord to punish me if I don't keep this promise. Only death will separate us. Naomi had lost everything, her husband and her 2 boys. She had no choice but to go home and hope that someone in her family would take pity on her. She didn't want Ruth to suffer with her, and she selflessly told Ruth to go home. Ruth refused. Ruth loved Naomi like a mother. She vowed to take care of Naomi. She would provide for them both, and she would worship God with her adopted mother. Ruth showed Naomi the same selfless love Naomi had shown her. She followed God's command to love and honour her mother. When you think about all that your mums do for you every day, one day seems hardly enough to say thank you. Mum is always going the extra mile. How many times has Mum raced you to a birthday party or given up her own plans to take care of you when you're sick? How hard does she work every day just to keep you healthy, well fed and strong? I hope you said I love you to your mum this morning, and if you did, that's great. You should say it again this afternoon. Say it tomorrow when you head off to school, and say it tomorrow night as well. Say it every day, several times a day. Mum is a special lady, and you can never say you love her enough. So once you've finished making all of your flowers, you just need to put them together in a jam jar. So I'm just going to put these 2 that I've made so far into my jam jar so that I can show you how pretty they're going to look. So with this last flower, I'm just going to twist down the stem. I'm going to take my jam jar and see how big. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be a nice size. So I'm just going to bend up my pipe cleaner. Take the other one that I've already made and bend that up and put those in, and you can see that even with just 2 that I've made, they look very pretty. So what you need to do now, if you want to, is just get your card and your pen and your string, and you make yourself a little gift tag and just write on there something to your mum, and you can keep that to one side and then give it to her on Mother's Day. So I'd like to say thank you to you for joining me to make this Mother's Day bouquet and learning about how we can make sure that we show our love to our mums or to a special person in our life. I'd love to see a photograph of the bouquet that you have made so that I can share them on our Facebook page. So please email me a photo to familiesblackwood@gmail.com. I've put the email address in the description section of this video, or you could post it yourself on our Facebook group page. Now you probably know that we're partway through Lent, the 40-day period running up to Easter. Each day I've been putting a suggestion on our Facebook group of something nice we can do for ourselves that day. I hope that you've been joining me. If not, there's still time to join in, so pop along to our Facebook group, Children and Families Blackwood. I've put the link in this video description, and let's see what each day will bring. And maybe you can post underneath what you've done that day to show love to yourself or to someone else. Don't forget to give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel using the link down below. And let's just remember, mums are special ladies. They are a gift from God, and they will always be there for us. Let your mum know that you love her every day, in words and in actions. Let's all remember to say, I love you every day of the year. God bless.